Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to show you how to recreate this design here. This is a set of custom-made press-on nails that I've made for a client. If you're interested in learning more about custom-made press-on nails, then please check out the other videos on my channel as I'm slowly creating a series. For this design we are going to need C&D shellac in cream puff, clearly pink, and original top coat. Then from Lecente, some nail shadows in powder blue, iris purple, and ballet pink. Then you'll need the infamous golden white. To apply these, I'm going to use my Lecente G1 and P1 brushes. I have two G1s, one for glitter and one for powders and pigments, and this is because the powders and pigments can sometimes stain the brush and transfer over onto the nail. So let's get designing. So I've started with one cured layer of C&D shellac in cream puff. The next step is to apply the pigments, and my first tip to you would be to lay down some tissue. The pigments and the glitters can get everywhere, and the last thing you want to do is have to try and clear those up. So here are the three Lecente colours I showed you earlier. I like to leave the lids next to the pots so I can dab off my brush to make sure there isn't too much. So I'm going to be using my G1 brush. I've got one here particularly marked for neons or pigments, as they do like to stay in the brush sometimes, and I found that if I burnish my glitter I get a bit of pigment, so I keep a separate one. So it's a case of just randomly placing them. Make sure there's not too much on your brush. I actually find random things quite hard, to be honest. I always imagine that they need to be put in a certain place. So try not to think about it too much. And I would go through, to save you having to constantly clean your brush, go through and do the same colour on all five. And to be honest, if you were doing a client, you would anyway, so. So now I'm just going to give my brush a quick whiz round on the tissue, just so I don't mix the colours in the pots, and start again with the purple. Now you can cross them over here, it'd be nice to get a nice blend, and don't worry too much if they're not perfect yet. I do actually go over a bit later and just blend them a little bit more. You just want to get them on now. Now to just fill those gaps with the third colour. Can blend them a little bit. So this is what they look like after first applying them. Now, if you're happy with that, absolutely fine. I think I would just like to make a couple of the colours pop a little bit more and blend them ever so slightly. So I'm just going to go in with some small amounts. Each one will be different. Let's just take a look. going to come in with the P1 brush. This is designed to be nice and gentle on pigments, and if I was completely covering the nail in one or more colour, I may well use this, but I wanted to get smaller areas, so I used my G1. I'm going to brush over to make sure I've got rid of any loose pigments. I don't want them standing up when I apply the colour because it just won't look uniform, but I also don't want them getting stuck in my next colour that I'm going to show you. Now it's time for C&D Shellac in Clearly Pink. This does have a slight pink sheen to it, but with most nail art you actually can't tell. The idea is to give a nice sticky layer for me to apply the glitter to. And remember, if you were applying this on a client, you would want to be capping your edges. Now just to cure. Here they are, all freshly cured. So let's get ready to put the glitter on. This is such a wonderful glitter. It can go over absolutely everything. And it comes in 3 different sizes as well with the actual glitter particles. So now I'm using another G1 brush, a separate one that I use for glitters. You can probably see that my G1 brush has got all these wispy bits. It may not look pretty, but it works perfectly for picking up glitter, as it helps to distribute it across the nail really, and to pick up more when you dip it into the tub. So as I'm applying, I'm pressing down, and then once I'm happy that I've covered everywhere, I will just brush over quite firmly. I always do this once now, but I do it again at the end. The last thing your client wants is glitter all around the edge here, feeling a bit rough. Now be careful not to touch the sticky layer of the shellac with your brush when it hasn't got enough on. That will end up taking away some of the sticky layer, and you may find that your glitter doesn't adhere as well as you would like it to. So now I'm going to run over these all again really firmly. Making sure this glitter sits nice and flat. Time for C&D Shellac Original Top Coat. Original top coat is the best to use with your glitters. It gives the best shine as well. I just absolutely love how it brings out those colours in the back and makes that glitter really gleam. When you're applying top coat for glitters or pigments, you must make sure that you've got enough so that you're floating it across. And by that, I mean you're, gliding the brush over the top coat rather than over the glitter. The reason for that is there's a few reasons. If you were using pigments or your glitter wasn't supposed to be as flat to the nail as this, you could end up shifting it and it would end up moving it away from where you particularly wanted it. The other reason would be that you really don't want to get glitter in your brush if you can help it. And by making sure you're floating it across, that will help slightly. But the main reason is to not dislodge what you've applied and where you've put it. So shiny. And then cure. Ta-da! Pastely, glittery goodness. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it enjoyable. Please like, subscribe and hit the bell for any notifications every time I upload a video. In the meantime, take care and I'll see you soon.